You know, I get this a lot. What does it feel like to be autistic? And I think it's a great question because instead of me whinging and whining and no one understands autistic people or no one accepts autistic people, it's best to give you the information that might help you understand and accept autistic people. Now, I think this video is so important that I'm going to do it over 3 parts. 1, 2, 3, yes.
And now, here's your neurologically different host, Orion Kelly.
Hey guys, it's Orion. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. If this is the first video of mine you've checked out, well, go and check out the rest if you have time, and please subscribe to my channel. Click that subscribe button, click that notifications bell so you never miss another episode, and rate the video, thumbs up, thumbs down, so we can share it around the world and make the world a better place for not only autistic people, but neurotypical people, non-autistic people. Now, aside from subscribing to this YouTube channel, which I'd love you to do so we can reach more people, you can also reach out to me on my socials. You can like the Orion Kelly page on Facebook, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all those social channels. So please like them, follow them, check them out, and connect with me. And you can say hey on my website, orionkelly.com.au. Now on the website, I've got everything for you. I've got all my podcasts, okay? Intensely Inquisitive, My Friend Autism, the Aspect podcast I do called A Different Brilliant. I've got my blogs on life as an autistic dad. I've also got links to all these YouTube videos. Plus, you can contact me and say hey. So go to the website, orionkelly.com.au. All right, let's do this. Let's dig deep. What does it feel like to be autistic? In this video, part 1, we're going to talk about feeling different, a lack of acceptance, masking, a lack of skills, changes in routine, and even more interesting, weird routines. Okay, so I want to start with feeling different and not fitting in. This idea that as an autistic person, I've always felt different. I've always felt out of place. I've always struggled to fit in with society in general. It's something that has lingered my entire life, to fit in, to feel like I'm accepted. For me, I would say one of the core feelings of being autistic, in my experience, because I can only ever speak on my experience of being autistic, is feeling different. The idea that you don't fit in, the idea that you feel out of place, the idea that not only do you feel out of place, but you feel like you can't ever be yourself, or people won't accept you or tolerate you. This is a big thing for me, and it goes through every aspect of my life. So let's start with family and friends. So with family, of course, you love your family, but you have a feeling that there's just something odd or not right, like you don't feel like the rest of your family, or you don't connect or understand them on the same level that they do with others, right? Kind of like the odd man out. You know, friends are the same. The friends you can actually get, again, you can still feel different to them because, you know, your friends, unless you have some really close, good friends, at some point you're going to be autistic or too autistic in their minds, and they're not going to want to be a part of that or tolerate that. So you can always feel like you're right on the edge. So this feeling of difference, it really permeates all aspects of being an autistic person. And you know, it's one of the things I really struggle with. I don't think it'll ever change. It's something you just learn to accept. And I think for parents of autistic kids or, you know, autistic people watching, all I can really say is you're not alone. You may feel out of place, you may feel different, you may feel lost. You aren't, you're autistic. I think if you can accept that and embrace that, then it allows you the freedom to just be yourself. Okay, so you're out of place, you feel different, you feel lost. That's trying to mask, and that's not even being yourself. So you might as well be yourself. Feeling different, not fitting in, really just rolls into the next thing I want to talk about, which is a lack of acceptance. Personally, as an autistic person, I can constantly feel, being autistic, that people just don't accept me. People just don't understand me. People don't want to accept me or understand me. I can often feel like people don't really believe me or believe my stories or believe my experiences or believe where I'm coming from. It just follows on from the feeling not accepted, feeling lost, feeling alone, because if I'm just telling you my experiences as an autistic person, my story, my circumstances, and I feel like you don't believe me, even if you do, then that further alienates me, and it doesn't do anything for my mental health, and it really, really hurts. Nothing's more disheartening than someone who just doesn't accept you for you, and that might be an experience all people experience. And I agree with that, but being an autistic person, it's from the get-go, and it never really lets go. I've talked about masking many, many times, and again, what it feels like to be an autistic person, well, it feels like you're two different people, because with masking, you can really only be your true autistic self, your true self, when you're at home. So an example about masking, as in presenting yourself in a neurotypical way to the neurotypical world, could be how I, as an autistic person, and this may be similar for other autistics, but I'm not saying it is because I speak on behalf of myself only, but it may be similar to others, is that when you're in the neurotypical world, you try your best to be neurotypical, you try your best to fit in. Now, people think that's just what everyone does. But no, it's not, because when your brain is actually wired completely differently to a neurotypical person, it actually is a real task. It's a physical and mental marathon that starts when you leave the house and ends when you get home. Now you can imagine, if you were to go on a physical and mental marathon every day for your entire life, when you get home and you don't have to mask anymore, you're probably going to be completely different, right? So the best way to explain that is in the neurotypical world, for the most part, and we still have autistic moments, there's no question about that in the outside world, but for the most part, in the neurotypical world, you are putting on a facade, you are one type of person in people's perceptions, and at home you're another type of person in people's perceptions, and therefore there are things that are hidden. Okay, so that it might be emotional dysregulation, anger, it might be emotional detachment, it might be the idea you just can't define or control your emotions. Whatever it is, there are things you hide from the outside world. Being truthful, being brutally honest. To me, it's a logical thing. It doesn't make any sense why I wouldn't just give you the truth. Now, a lot of times I can hear from even my wife, I'll say something to her at home and she'll say, well, that's really offensive. And automatically I'm really upset about that. I never wanted to offend her. I was just trying to tell her the truth or convey to her in the best possible way what I think. So there's no sugarcoating. I don't have much of an awareness of how to slowly get there. I just bang. It's not the small talk of, hey, how was your day? And then, okay, here's some things I want to talk about. It's pretty much bang, 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 which obviously is taken badly, and I can understand that completely. This idea that when we mask in the outside world, we are desperately trying to fit in and be accepted, but it means that when we're home, number one, because we're so stressed and tired, we feel safe and we can be ourselves, which often will be a intense version of ourselves because we just can't hold it in anymore. And that could be meltdowns or outbursts or shutdowns or whatever it is. But also we are two different people almost, because at home we are hopefully and in essence our true selves. In the real world we are not. As an autistic person, I can feel like I have this weird ratio of skills. I have a lack of skills. So there's certain things I'm really good at, but other skills, other day-to-day skills that come naturally, I lack. You may or may not hear autistic people talk about the idea of special interests, and if you're autistic, you may or may not already know what yours is. Briefly explaining this, so autistic people, and I'm going to use my own experience and my own story because I hate talking about everyone like we autistic people. It's ridiculous. It's me. It's in effect the same as me saying, you know, we humans. I mean, that's not going to work because everyone's individual. So me as an autistic person, I find it hard to learn new things or learn things in general or learn things that neurotypical people might just pick up and be able to do no worries. From little things to big things. Though my special interests, I can have such a high level of expertise that there's not many people around that would even bother to reach that level because it makes no sense to them. For me personally, my special interests have always been entertaining, have always been communicating, whether it was as a child to an adult. So therefore that led me into broadcasting, into radio, into acting, some TV, film, those types of things. That's my special interest, the communicating, entertaining to people. I'm doing it right now. You know, it's a special interest that really clicked for me. And I think there's a portion of autistic people whose special interests fall in that creative field. Again, because it can be quite a solitary career. Photography, really, you can do that by yourself. You can shoot things by yourself, right? You know, broadcasting, art, writing. These are all creative fields that I think a lot of autistic people can really thrive in and do thrive in. So basically the bottom line is my special interest, I obsessively learn and delve into and just create constantly, because my special interest interests me and therefore I'm invested. I would do it forever. I would never take breaks. I just love it. So I just keep putting more and more time into it. And of course I get better at it. Though you ask me to do other basic things that you may well know, I don't know, change a tire on a car potentially. If you ask me for a particular tool, I wouldn't have the faintest idea what you're asking for. I legitimately don't. I know what tools are and I know how to work some of them, but the words for them, you know, what they're called, this and that, it's like, what, who, what is that? The handyman stuff, like I'm a man and I've got hands, but I am not a handyman. I would actually need like a legitimate lesson. Things that you would just pick up naturally. Oh, this is how you do it. Just do it like that. It's not something that I can do. So as an autistic person, for me personally, that's another feeling that I have where I'll look at people, neurotypical people who can just pick things up and do little bits and big things naturally, and I just can't do it, and it makes no sense. It makes me feel like less of a person. I'm sure you've heard about this one. As an autistic person, changes in routine, not good. And to compensate for that, I can plan things out. I can start planning for things far in advance. I don't like changes in routine. I like to have structure. I like to have predictability. It's how I kind of maintain a peaceful existence to some extent. When your world is already upside down, being an autistic person in a neurotypical world, some sort of normality is what keeps the peace. So don't look at it like, oh, what a brat, like they can't try a new thing or the routines change, whoa, big deal, mate, like seriously. But think about it from the point of view of an autistic person. Okay, so our life is constantly upside down because we're doing everything we can to get our brains that are wired differently to basically change to be more like a neurotypical person in a neurotypical world. Then when you go and flip other things on us, it just creates a complete meltdown or explosion. Like seriously, forget about that change. So as a result, we try to take control of things. Now, anxiety can be a common comorbidity of autism. I have anxiety, GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, and social anxiety disorder. And that's one of the factors, but also just autistic in general can create that level of control. And again, it's because of change of routine. If you can control things, why would they change, right? Of course they will. And a quick example is we live on a property where we have tank water. So we don't have water provided like town water. And we needed to get a water truck to put some water in our tank. And he said he was coming at 8:30, and I then started preparing for his arrival at 6:30. And you think, well, why are you preparing? What do you mean preparing for his arrival? I mean, I started doing things for the truck. Now I'm in nighttime, and it's dark. So I'm opening curtains and turning on lights so the light will go through the windows. I'm turning on outside lights. I'm getting a ladder and putting it on the tank. All these types of things at 6:30, 2 hours before the water truck's even coming. My wife's going, what are you doing? You're opening all the curtains, you're letting all the heat out, you're turning every light on. So there's a level of control there that can help me. And also too, as an autistic person, I can build my day around what I know will happen, what I know I'll do, what I will try to achieve. I build my day, I plan my day. Does that make sense? In my mind, okay, I'm gonna do this to there and that to there. Here's a weird one. We've just talked about routines. Well, how about weird routines? Things that an autistic person may have to do on a daily basis. As an autistic person, I find that I have certain routines which are critical and crucial to me personally and my own mental health, yet can come across to other people as weird or insignificant or just plain stupid. Again, I can't speak on behalf of all autistic people. I think having your own routine, things that create peace, I think is quite common with autistic people, but I'll just talk about my personal experience. So as an autistic person, there are things that I would have to do on a daily basis to just be able to bring myself back down to a level where I can take another day. I can continue to live on this neurotypical earth. It sounds dramatic, but frankly, and I can't speak on behalf of anyone else, I can tell you right now, every day is really tiring. And I don't mean that in like a sympathy way. I'm saying being an autistic person in a neurotypical world in the current conditions where there's a lack of understanding and acceptance, and that's just a fact. So my weird routines, many and varied. I'll give you one for example. Okay, so once the boys, our kids, have had their dinner and their bath, their shower, their books, and they're fallen asleep, honestly, seriously, most nights it's probably 8:30 before that is done. So it's probably by 8:30-ish that my wife and I actually might be able to do things like work and videos and relax for the first time all day. For me, I am very different to my wife. In that window, my wife, who's neurotypical, she really maximizes that time. She basically works. She does work, study, whatever, but she's doing something, right? She's maximizing every minute of that time before bed. So she pretty much works all day and all night. I don't know how she does it. For me, after going through what I've gone through all day, which to a normal person looks like nothing. Well, what have you done, mate? But for me, all the things I've achieved and all the things I've done have led me to the point where by nighttime, my routine, which really has to happen, is I'll sit on the couch. I may have my laptop with me to do bits and pieces of work, like editing videos, that kind of stuff. But in effect, what I want to do is sit on the couch and just have the TV on. It doesn't really matter what I'm watching, but really this is important to me and it's a routine. Sit on the couch and watch TV just for an hour or two before bed. And I don't really have much more to that. It's not like I'm looking for conversation or chit chat or interaction. I'm just using this time to regenerate, almost like to build the batteries back up. Now people can look at that as just pure laziness. It's not about the TV. It's about the actions that I'm doing, relaxing, escaping the world around me, escaping the communications and all the confusion of neurotypical life. And it's super important. And it looks like a weird routine, but it's very important to me. All right, part one of what it feels like to be autistic. Done, my friends. Well done, you got through it. I don't know why. It's not a chore. Coming up on part two of what it feels like to be an autistic person, have I got some interesting insights for you. We are going to talk about completing tasks, hyperproductivity, isolation and stress, small talk, oh goodness, feeling like I'm on a different wavelength, sensitivities, and feeling a bit clueless. So join me for part two of what it feels like to be an autistic person. And in the meantime, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd love you to subscribe and to hit that notifications bell so you never miss another episode. Plus, please rate the video, thumbs up, thumbs down, and share it to your family and friends. And once you're done subscribing, check me out on my socials. Again, you can like the Orion Kelly page on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. All those avenues are ways you can not only connect with me, but you can say hey. And you can go to my website, orionkelly.com.au, to find my podcasts, YouTube videos, blogs, and a whole heap more. So visit the website if you'd like to connect with me. Until part two, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.